Hello there, dear friends. Have you ever paused for a moment, standing by the kitchen window, holding a cup of warm tea, and thought to yourself, why does my body feel different these days? Maybe foods you once enjoyed don't sit quite the same. Maybe you wake up feeling a little stiffer, or your energy doesn't stretch as far as it used to. That's not a flaw, it's nature's gentle way of saying, it's time to listen differently now. At 65 and beyond, we don't need more noise, we need clarity. We don't need more strict rules, we need quiet wisdom. And part of that wisdom is understanding that even something as wholesome as a vegetable might not always be the right fit anymore. So today, we're not here to scold or scare. We're here to reflect, to gently re-examine the foods on our plate with kindness and care. Because sometimes, the key to staying strong isn't about adding more, but knowing what to let go. Let's take this little journey together, one thoughtful bite at a time. Number 1. Raw cruciferous vegetables. When healthy gets a little too loud. Greater than now. Let's begin gently with a group of vegetables many of us have loved and trusted for years. The cruciferous kind. You know the ones: broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale. They've stood proudly on our plates since we were young, full of fiber, vitamins, and crunch. We were told they're the gold standard of health, and for many years, they absolutely were. But here's a soft truth not many talk about after 65. Our digestive system changes. It slows down just a touch. It becomes more sensitive, less forgiving. And some of these hearty, fibrous vegetables, especially when eaten raw, can suddenly feel like a storm in the belly. Ever had that bloated, gassy feeling after a bowl of raw kale or a spoonful of crunchy coleslaw? It's not your imagination. These vegetables contain natural compounds like raffinose and sulfur, which can ferment in the gut and lead to discomfort. In youth, we powered through, but now, why should we? It's not about banning broccoli or cutting out cabbage entirely. It's about gentleness. Steaming instead of raw, smaller portions instead of big bowls, listening to your gut, quite literally. And let's be honest, at this stage of life, comfort is a kind of wisdom. We've earned the right to meals that make us feel light, not weighed down, to enjoy vegetables that warm us, not battle us from within. So if you find your tummy turning after a crunchy raw salad, it may not be your fault. It might just be your body saying, can we have this a bit softer, please? And that's more than okay, because eating well in our 60s, 70s, and beyond isn't about following strict health trends. It's about choosing what brings us peace, one quiet bite at a time. Number 2. Nightshade vegetables. When good taste comes with a hidden sting. Greater than now. Let's talk about something a little more mysterious: vegetables that look innocent on the outside, but for some, bring quiet trouble from within. They're called nightshades, a poetic name, isn't it? Almost romantic, but what they do in the body? Not always so gentle. We're talking about tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, and white potatoes. Colorful, flavorful, and beloved in kitchens around the world. Yet for some older adults, especially those living with arthritis, joint pain, or even slight stiffness, these beautiful vegetables may whisper inflammation instead of healing. Why? Well, nightshades contain a natural chemical called solanine. It's part of the plant's defense system, and in small amounts, most people digest it just fine. But in bodies where joints already feel a little tender, where inflammation quietly lingers beneath the surface, solanine can be like salt on a wound. Have you ever noticed your fingers swelling a little after a rich tomato soup? Or your knees aching more after a plate of roasted potatoes? It may not be coincidence. It may be your body gently hinting, this one's not as friendly to me anymore, and that's alright. Life after 65 is not about powering through discomfort, it's about choosing peace where we can. That might mean reducing your nightshade intake, or simply cooking them more thoroughly, or swapping them occasionally with sweet potatoes, courgettes, or leafy greens that soothe rather than provoke. No need for panic, no need to banish, just a bit more awareness, a little more listening to your joints. They've carried you this far. They deserve kindness. Remember, in these years of wisdom, food is no longer just fuel. It's a companion. Let it be one that walks gently beside you, not one that pushes from behind. If this video brought a smile to your face or warmed your heart, don't forget to tap the like button. Number 3, corn, sweet memories, but not always a sweet deal for the body. Greater than corn. Just saying the word might bring back memories of summer picnics, buttery cobs at family gatherings, the smell of grilled kernels in the warm air. It's one of those vegetables that feels like a friend from childhood. Familiar, comforting, gentle, but here's the thing about corn: it wears a disguise. It looks and feels like a vegetable, but deep down, it behaves more like a starch. And in our later years, when blood sugar needs more careful attention and digestion needs more kindness, corn doesn't always return the favor, you see. Corn is naturally high in carbohydrates and sugar. That means it can cause a quick rise in blood glucose levels, something that many seniors, especially those managing diabetes or pre-diabetes, need to avoid. Not only that, but corn is one of the most difficult grains for the body to fully break down, especially when digestion isn't as spry as it once was. Have you ever noticed how corn sometimes passes right through? That's because it contains cellulose and insoluble fiber the human body can't digest. It moves through the gut like a stubborn guest at a polite party, loud, uninvited, and hard to manage. None of this means corn is a villain. A spoonful of sweet corn in a warm soup isn't the end of the world. But when it becomes a regular star on the plate: cornbread, cornflakes, corn chips, corn oil, it starts to take up too much space. Space that could be filled by gentler, more nourishing companions like oats, lentils, or steamed root vegetables. It's about balance. It's about asking, is this still serving me the way it used to? And if the answer is not quite, then there's no shame in setting it aside. Because these days, we don't eat to keep up, we eat to keep steady. We eat for clarity, not confusion. And we owe it to ourselves to choose foods that truly support us, even if it means saying goodbye to a familiar favorite now and then. Corn gave us memories. Let's thank it and move gently forward with what our bodies need today. Number 4, garlic. A little too powerful for a gentle body. Greater than let's talk about garlic. That tiny clove with a mighty punch. For decades, it's been praised as a healer, a heart helper, an immune booster, an ancient protector handed down through grandmothers and herbal books alike. And most of the time, garlic lives up to the legend. But here's a quiet truth that often goes unspoken. After a certain age, our bodies don't always want warriors. They want peacemakers, and garlic, for all its magic, is not always the most peaceful guest at the table. For many older adults, especially those with sensitive stomachs, garlic can be harsh. Raw garlic, in particular, can irritate the digestive lining, trigger acid reflux, and even lead to uncomfortable bloating. If you've ever felt a burning sensation after a garlicky meal or noticed heartburn creeping in more often, garlic might be part of the story. And there's another layer: medication. Garlic, as powerful as it is, has blood-thinning properties. For seniors already taking blood thinners or medication for heart conditions, this can become a risky mix. That little clove, meant to help, may quietly interfere with the balance we work so carefully to maintain. Does that mean we must give it up completely? Not at all. Cooked garlic is far gentler than raw. A light salt or slow roasting softens its sharp edges, both in flavor and in effect. Moderation becomes the melody. 1 clove instead of 5. A warm stew rather than a raw salad. See, eating well after 65 isn't about deleting the past. It's about adapting it. It's about listening closely. Does this still nourish me? Or does it now ask too much of me? That's a question only you and your body can answer. Garlic has walked beside us for years, and like all old friends, sometimes a little distance is what keeps the relationship kind. We can still keep it close, just not too close. Number 5, onions, tears of flavor, and sometimes discomfort. Greater than now, here's a vegetable we've laughed and cried with quite literally. The humble onion, it's the base of so many dishes, the heart of countless stews, soups, and savory. Stories, we slice it, we salt it, we build flavors around it. It's been a quiet companion in the kitchen for generations. But just like certain old friendships, onions can become a little harder to digest as we age. What once gave warmth and depth may now bring a little too much drama to the gut. You see, onions, especially raw, contain fructans, a type of carbohydrate that ferments in the gut. For many seniors, particularly those with irritable bowels, acid reflux, or sensitive digestion, this can lead to bloating, cramps, and even embarrassing gas. And let's not forget the sharpness of raw onions. That crisp bite might once have felt invigorating, but now it can be too harsh, too acidic. It may upset the stomach lining, spark reflux, or leave a sour aftertaste, not just in the mouth, but in the whole body. Some might say, well, just cook it. And yes, cooked onions are gentler, but even then, for some seniors, they still leave a mark. The key is paying attention, not to fear food, but to listen to it. Have you ever finished a beautiful meal only to feel discomfort an hour later and wonder what went wrong? Sometimes it's the onion you didn't even notice hidden in the sauce, the stir fry, or the stuffing. This isn't about villainizing onions. It's about recognizing that our bodies are evolving. What once brought depth to the dish might now need a little distance from our plate, or at least a gentler preparation, slow cooked, finely chopped, portioned wisely, because at this stage of life, we don't eat for the thrill of spice or shock. We eat for steadiness, for grace, for that quiet, contented feeling that stays long after the plate is clean. And so, if onions bring more chaos than comfort these days, it's all right to set them aside. It doesn't mean we're growing weaker. It means we're growing wiser. Number 6. Bell peppers, colorful, crunchy, and sometimes a bit too bold. Greater than a red one, a yellow one, a green one. Bell peppers look like a cheerful parade on our plates. They're vibrant, crisp, and full of personality. Just the sight of them can brighten a gloomy day or add a pop of joy to a salad. And for many years, they've been part of our proudest meals. Stir fries, casseroles, even breakfast omelets. But as we grow older, our relationship with food changes. Not just emotionally, but biologically too. Our digestive system slows, our stomach linings thin, and our tolerance for certain foods fades. Quietly, almost without us noticing, bell peppers, for all their color and charm, are part of the nightshade family, a group of vegetables known to trigger inflammation in some people. For seniors dealing with arthritis or joint pain, these pretty peppers can sometimes fuel the fire rather than calm it. And then there's digestion. While bell peppers are technically easy to chew, they can be surprisingly tough on the stomach. The skin is firm and fibrous, and for some, it passes through the system half digested, causing bloating or discomfort along the way, especially when eaten raw. Bell peppers can feel like a party guest who overstays their welcome. But that doesn't mean we need to banish them completely. A slow roast in the oven or a long simmer in a soup can soften their structure and mellow their intensity. Cooking them breaks down the compounds that can cause trouble and makes them far more agreeable. The key, as always, is listening. Do your knees feel more tender after a day of pepper-rich meals? Do you notice an unsettled stomach after a colorful salad? It might be time to rethink how often they appear and how they're prepared. Growing older doesn't mean living in fear of food. It means learning to negotiate with it gently. 2. Ask each ingredient, are you still on my side? And if the answer is no, we learn to part ways without regret, because peace in the body is worth more than any rainbow on a plate. Number 7. Kale, the health hero that sometimes overdoes it. Greater than once upon a time, kale was just another leafy green. Then it became a star. It strutted into health blogs, smoothie bowls, and the plates of well-meaning grandkids everywhere. You have to eat kale. Grandma, it's a superfood. They'd say with sparkling eyes, and they weren't wrong. Kale is full of vitamins, fiber, and antioxidants. It fights inflammation, supports the heart, and even helps the brain. But here's the little twist in the tale. Sometimes, even, heroes come on too strong for older adults, especially those with thyroid issues. Kale can become a bit of a troublemaker. You see, kale belongs to the cruciferous family, alongside broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower, and it contains natural compounds called goitrogens. These compounds, in high amounts, can interfere with the thyroid's ability to use iodine, which is essential for keeping energy levels and metabolism in balance. This doesn't mean kale is bad. It means kale, like many intense things in life, needs moderation, especially raw kale. Juicing it daily, eating big salads full of it, or overloading on green smoothies might actually do more harm than good in this season of life. Beyond the thyroid, kale's toughness can challenge aging digestion. Its fibrous leaves, while great for gut health in theory, can be taxing on slower moving intestines, that feeling of bloating or heaviness after a kale-heavy meal. It's not your imagination. The good news is, cooking kale can neutralize many of these effects. A gentle steam, a quick salt with olive oil, or even adding it to a warm soup can make all the difference. The nutrients stay, but the sharpness softens. You don't have to ban kale from your kitchen. You simply need to get to know it better, respect its strength, learn its edges, and most importantly, listen to your body more than you listen to a headline, because wisdom is knowing that health isn't always about doing more. Sometimes it's about doing just enough, just right, just for you. Number 8. Spinach, the leafy green that's not always gentle, greater than spinach. Oh, how we've trusted it. From childhood cartoons to trendy smoothies, spinach has worn a glowing halo of health for decades. It's iron-rich, full of folate, and whispering promises of strength and vitality in every leaf. For many, spinach feels like the smart choice, the right choice, the safe choice. But as we grow older past 65, our bodies begin to tell us subtler truths. And one of them is this: even the greenest hero may not be as gentle as it seems. You see, spinach is high in oxalates, natural compounds that, in some people, can interfere with calcium absorption and promote the formation of kidney stones. For seniors, especially those with any history of kidney issues or lower kidney function, too much spinach can quietly contribute to problems we'd rather avoid. And while spinach does contain iron, it's the non-heme kind, which is less easily absorbed. Plus, the oxalates may block even more of it. So the belief that spinach alone builds strong blood and bones, it's only partly true. Another often overlooked challenge is that spinach is very high in vitamin K, which normally is a good thing. But for those on blood thinners like warfarin, this can cause complications with medication effectiveness. One bowl of spinach soup might unintentionally tip the scale. This doesn't mean spinach is bad. Not at all. It means spinach is powerful, and with power comes the need for balance. Cooking spinach can reduce the oxalate content significantly, and rotating it with other greens like kale, arugula, or romaine can bring variety without overburdening the body. In the end, it's not about blaming the food. It's about honoring your body's whispers, listening when something no longer sits right, even if it once felt perfect. It's about growing older not with fear but with curiosity. Spinach may still have a place in your bowl, just perhaps not every single day, because wisdom isn't just in knowing what to eat, it's in knowing when to pause, when to change, and when to gently say, thank you. That's enough for now. So there we have it, 8 vegetables we once trusted, now gently reconsidered through the wisdom of age, not because they've turned into villains, but because our bodies have turned a new chapter. After 65, our needs change. What once nourished, use without question now asks to be softened, reduced, or sometimes kindly let go. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of care, of listening, of loving ourselves enough to evolve. And isn't that what growing older is truly about? Not clinging to old habits, but embracing new understanding. knowing that the goal is not to eat perfectly, but to eat wisely, kindly, in tune with the gentle rhythm of a life well lived. Maybe you saw something in today's list that surprised you. Maybe it stirred a memory or a quiet aha that made sense of something you've been feeling in your gut literally. If it did, then we've already taken the first step toward better days. Now, dear friends, if this video brought you insight, a smile, or a little warmth in your heart, we invite you to join our growing circle. Please tap that like button if you found this helpful. Hit subscribe to stay close as we share more wisdom, health tips, and gentle stories just for you. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Did any of these vegetables surprise you? Are there others you've noticed your body no longer embraces the same way? Share your story. Your voice might help someone else. And if you have a loved one, a friend, a neighbor, or a dear grandchild who might benefit from this, please don't hesitate to share this video with them. A small act of sharing could be a turning point in someone's journey. Thank you, truly, for being here, for listening, reflecting, and walking this path of wellness with us. We're honored to be part of your day. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself. Eat with kindness, live with grace, and remember, every season of life brings its own wisdom. Let's welcome it together.